You studied for the interview for 2 weeks. You knew every answer. And then they asked the first question, and your mind went completely blank. That moment of mental paralysis has a name, and it happens because of a very specific war happening inside your brain. When the stakes feel high, your brain doesn't sharpen. It shuts down. Here's why. Deep inside your brain sits a small almond-shaped structure called the amygdala. Think of it as your brain's alarm system. The moment it detects a threat, that's a lion or a job interview, it fires off distress signals to the rest of your brain. Those signals trigger a flood of cortisol and adrenaline. These are your stress hormones. In small doses, they help you focus, but when they spike too hard, they do something devastating. They temporarily hijack your prefrontal cortex. The prefrontal cortex is the part of your brain right behind your forehead. It handles reasoning, memory retrieval, clear thinking, and speech. It is, quite literally, the part that makes you sound intelligent. And stress doesn't just slow it down. It cuts off its access to stored information entirely. Your memories aren't gone. They're locked. And your brain handed the wrong part of itself the keys. Think about Marcus. He'd rehearsed his presentation 47 times. He could deliver it in his sleep. But the moment his manager walked into the room with 3 senior directors, something shifted. His mouth went dry. The slides he'd memorized looked foreign. He stood there, heart hammering, and said words that weren't the words he meant to say. What Marcus didn't know was that his brain had decided the room was dangerous. Not metaphorically, literally dangerous. His nervous system couldn't tell the difference between social judgment and physical threat. So it did the only thing it was designed to do. It prepared him to fight or run. Not to present quarterly revenue figures. The surprising realization Marcus had later, sitting in his car, was this. He hadn't failed because he wasn't prepared. He failed because he was too prepared in the wrong direction. He had practiced the content. He had never practiced calming his brain under threat. And that's the deeper truth most people never consider. Your brain doesn't freeze because you're weak or underprepared. It freezes because it's working exactly as it was built to work, just for a world that no longer exists. A world where stress meant predators, not performance reviews. The freeze response kept your ancestors alive. It is ancient code running in modern situations, and your brain cannot tell the difference unless you teach it to. Here's what the science actually suggests you can do. Before a hypershare moment, take 4 slow, controlled breaths, not to relax, but to physically lower your cortisol spike. Slow breathing activates the vagus nerve, which runs from your brainstem down through your body, and it sends a direct signal to your amygdala that the threat level can drop. Your prefrontal cortex comes back online. Your words return. The second thing is stranger, but just as real. Name what you're feeling out loud or in your head. Say the words, "I'm nervous," or "This feels threatening." Research from UCLA shows that labeling an emotion reduces amygdala activation almost immediately. You are not suppressing the feeling. You are rooting it through language rather than panic, and that simple act returns control to the thinking part of your brain. Your brain doesn't betray you in the moments that matter most. It protects you the only way it knows how, and learning its language is how you finally stop fighting it. If this changed the way you see your brain, subscribe to MindDrift. Every week we go deeper into the science of who you are.